Work is the activity to which most people in modern societies devote the largest portion of their waking hours. It is also one of the most frequently cited sources of both meaning and misery in contemporary life, sometimes in the same person's report on the same week. Viktor Frankl spent considerable time thinking about why this is so, and what the difference is between work that enriches a life and work that hollows it out. Frankl placed work at the center of one of his three primary pathways to meaning, which he called creative values. Creative values are the meanings that come from what we give to the world, from the act of producing, contributing, building, making something. This is distinct from experiential values, which come from what we receive, and from attitudinal values, which come from how we face suffering. Creative values are active. They require the engagement of our skills, our attention, and our effort in service of something that has value beyond ourselves. Frankl was specific about what makes work a source of creative value, and it is not what the achievement culture might lead you to expect. It is not the prestige of the work, its compensation, its social recognition, or its measurable impact. All of these can be present without creative meaning, and creative meaning can be present without any of them. What makes work a genuine source of meaning is the relationship between the person and the work, whether the person is genuinely engaged, whether they bring their authentic effort and attention to the task, whether they sense, however quietly, that what they are doing matters in a way that goes beyond the transaction. Frankl described this quality of engagement as characteristic of what he called vocation, using the word in its original sense, which connects to the Latin vocare, to call. A vocation is work that calls to you, that makes a claim on your specific abilities and interests, that places demands on you that feel appropriate rather than arbitrary. The person who experiences their work as a vocation is not necessarily doing glamorous or prestigious work. They may be a plumber, a schoolteacher, a baker, a nurse, a librarian. The vocational quality has nothing to do with the work's social status. It has to do with whether the person has found a genuine fit between what the work requires and what they are capable of giving. Frankl was also clear that the same job can be experienced as a vocation by one person and as mere drudgery by another, and that the difference often lies not in the work itself but in the orientation brought to it. The physician who sees each patient as a unique human being calling for genuine attention is doing different work, experientially, from the physician who processes patients as items in a queue, even if the technical actions look identical from outside. The difference is in the relationship to meaning, whether the work is being done as an expression of something the person genuinely values, or as a series of obligations to be completed and forgotten. Frankl also addressed the danger of identifying too completely with one's work, a danger he saw in professional people who had organized their entire sense of self around their career identity. When work is the primary source of meaning and the career ends, through retirement, illness, or loss of the position, the person can experience a collapse of the self that is disproportionate to the actual change in circumstances. Frankl believed that work should be one source of meaning among several, not the totality. The person whose life has room for creative values, experimental values, and relationships, who has not reduced themselves to their professional role, is far more resilient when the role changes. For anyone struggling with work that feels meaningless, Frankl's analysis points in two directions. The first is toward honest inquiry about whether the work connects, at any level, to something genuinely worth doing, and if it doesn't, whether change is possible or necessary. The second is toward a change of orientation within the existing work, a deliberate effort to find within the current job the specific tasks, relationships, or contributions that carry some spark of genuine engagement. In most work situations, this spark exists somewhere, even if it has been buried under routine and disappointment. Finding it, and giving it more attention, can begin to shift the experience of the work without requiring any change in the job title. Frankl believed that human beings need to work, not in the narrow economic sense but in the deeper sense of needing to contribute, to create, to give something of themselves to the world. The work does not have to be extraordinary. It has to be genuine. And genuine work, honestly engaged, carries more meaning than any amount of prestigious idleness. Subscribe to The Psychology of Viktor Frankl to explore more of his timeless ideas.